What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Show. My name's AJ Gels. How y'all doing? It is time once more for the weekly show. Basically, if you couldn't tell from the title of this little episode, this is going to be some pre-TGS sort of info. Pretty much just kind of like some articles that I found that were coming out recently of some stuff that I'm kind of interested to see news about coming out of TGS, the Tokyo Game Show, again, if you don't know the acronym. That's starting, I believe it's the 12th to the 15th. So later this week, I will be doing coverage of that. It'll probably replace next week's show. I might not do like a real episode. What, this is 167? Yeah, I probably won't do episode 168 next week. It'll probably be more of a here's 2, 3, 4 videos of Tokyo Game Show stuff. You know, of different stage presentations, because there are some that I'm interested in, but it also comes down to what's in English, what's subtitled, yada yada yada. So that's the big question. Haven't fully decided how everything's going to work. I work through most of that through pretty much all of those days. So I'll cover what I can when I can, sort of idea. But either way, let's just kind of hop into things, because I don't one of the rare times I don't feel like rambling too terribly much. So our first article on Games Radar, Death Stranding will show a whopping total of 80 minutes of gameplay at Tokyo Game Show 2019. Article, however, walled. Kojima Productions' official Twitter account has revealed a total of 80 minutes of Death Stranding gameplay will be shown at Tokyo Game Show 2019. The tweet states that 50 minutes of footage will be shown on September 12th, followed by 30 minutes of gameplay on September 14th, and finally a voice actor session closing out the event on September 15th. Hideo Kojima is said to be in attendance throughout all 3 stage shows, and just kind of a list of the tweets. Tokyo Game Show 2019 is set to start on September 12th and will run until September 15th, showcasing a whole host of upcoming games. We recently learned Death Stranding would be shown thanks to the official Japanese blog for PlayStation, which confirmed its lineup at the show, alongside Kojima Productions' adventures with Norman Reedus and other big upcoming releases, including Nioh 2, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Yakuza 7, will be making an appearance. In recent months, we've steadily seen more gameplay of Death Stranding. See, that's true. We've seen more gameplay of Death Stranding, but I don't feel like we know any more. I mean, that's not true. There are tons of people who have seen all the trailers, and they're drawing connections. Akita Touchdown sent me a good recap video that I still haven't worked my way entirely through. So I guess that's not fair when I'm saying like we really haven't learned too terribly much. But it's like whenever we see gameplay, it's always just Norman Reedus' character, his name is Sam, right? Is just walking around out in the world, and I get it. That's what the game is. It's just I understand what we're doing. We're basically walking from one side of the country to the other, trying to connect people and all this stuff. But again, I want more explanation as to what the fuck is going on, and I want it from Kojima, and I know I'm not going to get it. That's the thing I love and hate about Kojima. It's just, I love the massive state of questioning that he puts me in, but I also just hate the amount of questioning he makes me do. Ugh. It's hard to forget that gameplay shown during Gamescom 2019 that saw Sam, aka Norman Reedus, pee on a mushroom. Loved that, by the way. And I'm 100% serious. I loved that. That's a thing. Take a nap and rock the baby known as BB back to sleep after he took a tumble down a hill. Kojima teased that the helping of footage shown at Gamescom was only just a small teaser of what's to come. Yeah, I'm not surprised, seeing that you devoted almost about a minute and a half to taking a piss and trying to look at a CG rendered version of Norman Reedus' thing. I'm just saying. Given what's been shown so far, what's yet to be revealed really is anyone's guess, but we get to see him taking a dump. But a total of 80 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm a child. 80 minutes across 2 separate shows is quite a substantial amount of playtime. With the release date of November 8th getting ever closer, this could very well be the last big appearance Death Stranding makes before launch. Now, I think that's true. I think this is really going to be the last we see of this game until launch day, and then the game's probably going to go into... I don't want to say like go to sleep or go into the back burner or anything, but I think it's going to be like the last really big media appearance, probably right until about a week or two before launch, but maybe not even then. Maybe I really could see TGS being the last we really see, or last big info drop, and then it's just tight-lipped until launch. All in all, I keep saying it, Death Stranding is one of those games that interested me at first, and I have become just so fascinated with the mystique of it. And I guess this is something that I've always said about Kojima. You know, I've always called him a crazy bastard, and I think that's true. Yet I think in that craziness there is a genius when it comes to game design and in crafting the games that he has. Yet in a weird way, I get, this is something I've never really kind of touched upon. But that craziness and this mystique that he's kind of built around himself is such a great marketing tool. Because it keeps the game, it always keeps things in your brain as to what he's working on. It's always keeping you thinking, okay, what the hell are we going to see next? Because you never know. It could be Norman Reedus peeing on stuff, or it could actually be important shit. You never know what the hell you're going to get with Kojima at these shows. So, again, I'm curious. I mean, are we even going to see 80 minutes of anything that's consequential, or is it going to be, again, a bunch of Norman Reedus peeing on things? And again, I'm not saying it's going to be 80 minutes of Norman Reedus' character actually peeing on stuff, although that would be kind of funny. But no, it's like I was saying, from a marketing standpoint, Kojima's such a great... He markets his game so well just by being himself, just by showing us the weird stuff he kind of wants to do. Because it's like I said, I started off just interested in it because it's the next Kojima game, and then I suddenly, without realizing it, I have become just obsessed and just more interested in what the hell this game is going to be and has to offer. So, sorry about that little rant. I kind of got off topic here, but no, I'm excited to see a big 80-minute gameplay chunk, or I guess 2 chunks of what they say, like 50 and 30 minutes. Yeah, 50 and 30 minutes of this game at TGS. You know, if you know me, I love gameplay more than anything else. You know, more than articles talking about stuff, more than developers just sitting around at trade shows having, you know, just talking, mostly because I think a lot of times they don't ask real questions. I prefer to see what's going on and have the developer talk about what's going on. That is my favorite thing, really, to see when people show off video games. But we're going to move on to the next article before I keep getting too long-winded here. Well, we talked about Death Stranding, but now onto a game that honestly, I've been probably even more interested in than Death Stranding, and that is Ghost of Tsushima. And my biggest interest with this game is not about the game itself. It's more of a question of where the fuck is it? It's kind of like when Days Gone originally got announced, and then we saw nothing about it for the longest time. Again, it's like Ghost of Tsushima. It got announced, and we've seen little spatterings here and there, but really since TGS, well, not TGS, PlayStation Experience, what was that, 2 years ago? And hell, even what we saw there, I was really pissed about. If you go back and watch the video, I mean, I got really drunk and bitched about that panel, because all they did was really talk about the trailer that they showed, and which was a nice trailer, but we've really not seen a lot of gameplay for this game. We don't have a release date. We don't have really anything for this game. So it's really been making me asking, where the hell is it? But apparently it's going to be at TGS 2019, but according to this article's title, we shouldn't expect much. Article Richard Wakeling of GameSpot, by the way. Sony Interactive Japan Asia, that is a long-ass title, previously outlined its plans for the upcoming Tokyo Game Show, which runs from September 12th to 15th at the Makuhari Meisei. I don't know if that's anywhere near correct. In Chiba, Japan. The company announced it would be showcasing numerous games on the show floor and in a nearby mega theater, including Final Fantasy VII Remake, Neo 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and Death Stranding. The most notable news to come out of Sony's plans, however, was the absence of a pre-show press conference following in the wake of Sony's no-show at E3 and its decision not to host the annual PlayStation Experience this year. Nevertheless, Sony has now revealed the full lineup of games slated to appear at TGS, and it's a pretty huge list. There's a mixture of first and third-party titles for both PlayStation 4 and PSVR set to appear on the show floor. But the one that grabbed most people's attention is Ghost of Tsushima. The last time we saw the samurai action game was back in E3 2018, when a lengthy trailer was featured during Sony's press conference. Was it E3 2018? Yeah, I guess it was E3. Sorry, yeah, I guess E3 2018 was the last time. For some reason, I was getting that in the PSX panel flipped around. Either way. During Sony's press conference, the TGS lineup lists it as having a trailer, so everyone assumed new footage would be shown. Unfortunately, Sucker Punch communications manager Andrew Goldfarb soon shut down any notions of seeing something new from Ghost of Tsushima at TGS. I'd imagine they're just showing our old trailers at the booth. We had no plans for TGS, Goldfarb told a fan on Twitter. Presumably, we'll have to wait until next year's E3 to see more from Sucker Punch's latest. In the meantime, Sony's plans on streaming live shows throughout the event that will include games like Death Stranding, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and the mysterious new Resident Evil game Project Resistance. There will be here's the full list of games appearing. If you want to really dig into this list, because there's just a shitload of games here to cover. Come on, brain. You can follow the link down in the description. To this article and actually go through everything. As much as I'm excited about Yakuza 7, which we will talk about Yakuza 7 at the end of this video, and some of the other things that we're going to be seeing here, again, I do not understand why we've not seen anything for Ghost of Tsushima. It's like Goldfarb said, we just, why has nothing been planned? Why is this game really just gone into the shadows, so to speak? I mean, we have seen nothing, no gameplay, no news about this game for the longest time. I mean, honestly, I was hoping that maybe we'd get a release date, but now reading this, it makes me wonder, are we even going to get, it's like he said, we might not even be getting a new trailer. What the hell is going on with this game? Does it make me worried? No. Does it really confuse me? Hell yes. It's kind of like with Days Gone, how it kept getting pushed back and everything. Well, actually, because Days Gone kept getting pushed back, we've never had a true release date for Ghost of Tsushima. We've had windows of, it should be out in 2019, and now 2019's quickly ending, and there's a lot of really great titles still to come this year, but still nothing of Ghost of Tsushima. So I'm really questioning what the hell's going on with this game. Is there a problem between Sony and Sucker Punch, or just what the hell's going on? But I don't know. Hopefully we'll get some semblance of answers at TGS. Although I wouldn't be 100% surprised if we don't. All right. Well, keeping on this little trend of what's going to be at TGS. Apparently there's going to be a special Persona 5 Royal thing going on the 14th. This is on Persona Central. Really good Twitter account / website that I do suggest people follow, especially if you like Persona stuff like I do. But this is by Reggie. Believing this is an actual article, or not blog page, whatever. It's set up like an article, so I'm going with article. Either way, this is on Persona Central. If anybody, again, link will be down in the description. So, Persona 5 Royal Special Talk Show announced for Tokyo Game Show 2019 on September 14th. With the annual Japanese video convention, Tokyo Game Show 2019, happening next week, Sega has updated their official stage show schedule, which will include a Persona 5 Royal Special Talk Show. The illustrious voice cast for the game will make their appearance for the Persona 5 Royal Stage Show. They will introduce the game's new elements and updates in Royal, and the voice of the main character, Jun Fukuyama, will play a live demo. Furthermore, a secret guest will make their appearance. Date and time. There you go through your time zones, your guests, said the voice of the protagonist, voice of Morgana. I'm not going to attempt that one. Of Ichiko. Oh, God. I'm trying to remember who Oya was. I probably mispronounced that name. I can't remember who that character was. I think she might have been the journalist. But that's a weird character to bring out on stage. I believe Hifumi is the new team member that you get. But those are the where you can catch the stream. As announced previously, Persona 5 Royal will be present at the Sega and Atlas booths with a public demo, the same one which was shown at the Royal Experience event of a 15-minute dive into the Mementos dungeon. Earlier today, the TGS 2019 stage show for Vanillaware's 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim were announced. Tokyo Game Show, blah, 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 blah. How between September 9th and September 14th? That's a different date than I've been seeing other places. Either way, I'm excited to see more. If there's something of like real substance at this conference, believe me, I'll definitely look into showing it on the channel. Again, it's like I said, my big question is how much is going to be in English, how much is going to be subtitled, what, that's the biggest question of what all I can and can't show, just because obviously I'm an American. I only speak English. So, I'm not going to sit here and I'm going to do my best to interpret Japanese for you when I don't speak Japanese. So that's the whole thing of why I'm still kind of questioning of what we're going to cover and what we're going to talk about. But as a whole, though, I am excited. I've done videos before on Persona 5 Royal. You know how much I love Persona. If you watch this channel, we're just gonna move on before I start gushing and acting like a 5-year-old. Okay, guys, now on to something that I wouldn't say excited about, but I wouldn't say worried about either. Just I'm interested in, I guess is the best way to put it. I know that seems like that's my go-to state, but I'm really curious of how this is going to work, because apparently Koei Tecmo is up a Fairy Tail RPG for 2020. And yes, Fairy Tail, the anime Fairy Tail. I guess it's also a manga. Honestly, I love Fairy Tail. I love the series. I love the characters. Natsu's great. Gray, Erza, Lucy, and all them. Like I said, like I love the characters. I love the concept of how the magic isn't like Harry Potter, like wands and crap. It's actually, like Erza has her. Oh my god, fuck me! I haven't seen the show in a while. I haven't actually watched it in a while. Whatever, like her, I'm gonna say quick change, and I know that's not technically correct. That's not what it is. But she has all the armors that give her different magics. Natsu's magic is his dragon hunter magic, where he's breathing fire and using fire fists and all that. He's eating fire and all that. Gray's got his ice magic. Lucy's got her gate keys. I know for a show that I supposedly really like, I can't remember the terms. It's just, like I said, I'm weird. But no, I really do like the show, and I'm curious of what kind of RPG this is going to be. Because again, after I got burned on the Nanatsu no Taizai, or the 7 Deadly Sins video game that came out not too long ago, which was a god-awful fighting game. I got burned on that. I'm kind of worried that this is going to be a thing, but there's an optimism in me that I'm like, no, they wouldn't do that to Fairy Tail, would they? But again, they did that to the 7 Deadly Sins, so I don't know. But just the fact that they're calling it an RPG and not a fighting game makes me happy. So maybe it'll actually, there will be something better about it, but whatever. I'm rambling now, making no goddamn sense. Koei Tecmo announced that it will be, this article's on Destructoid, by the way, by Peter Glogowski. That's a really fun name to say. Koei Tecmo announced that it will be producing a JRPG based on the acclaimed Fairy Tail manga / anime. A series focused on wizards battling demons and dragons, The game will feature a story with supervision by creator Hiro Mashima, which again gives me big hope that this will actually be good. To ensure it is faithful to the source material, the title will be heading to PC via Steam, PS4, and Switch sometime in 2020. There isn't much more information to go on, but Koei Tecmo will be talking more about the game at 2019 Tokyo Game Show next week. For now, just know that the game will see all of the major characters that fans have come to love over the years. I don't know much about Fairy Tail, but I do feel a JRPG is a good fit for the series, which again makes me go, yeah, you guys came up with a Conjuring title from somebody who doesn't really know Fairy Tail. When it's, they hear wizards and they think Conjuring and all that. So really, that's not what Fairy Tail is. It's more, a lot of the magic in Fairy Tail is a lot more practical. You know, everyone's kind of got their type of magic. You know, it's like I said, like the main character Natsu has his magic is based around what was used to hunt dragons. So basically, he's almost impervious to fire. He, you know, basically can do like fire punch. You know, he can wrap his limbs in fire. He can breathe fire. He can do a lot of cool shit like that. Like I said, Lucy, the blonde chick, she's got her gate keys, which open up to like a celestial realm. So basically, she summons these spirits to come and fight for it. But a lot of them are actually really goofy. You know, like I said, Erza, she's got all these different armor sets that she can magically change into, and they'll give her different abilities and different whatnot, mixed with the fact that she's like super strong. Gray is probably the most like mage-like of any of them, because he basically just shoots ice at people. But it's the magic in Fairy Tail is a lot more practical. It's a really good anime if you haven't checked it out. I think it has a really good dub. If you're like me and prefer dubs, that I think is on. I think it's on Hulu. I think the English dub's on Hulu. I'd heavily suggest it. Basically, my biggest thing is I'm curious of what kind of RPG is it going to be. Is it going to be like a full-on like a turn-based sort of thing? Is it going to be an action RPG? Like I want to know more about the game, which obviously we won't really know until TGS. But I think that's one of the big things that's going to take to sell me on this. And the other thing that I really have a question about is who is going to do the English voice acting. I'm holding out hope that they can get like Todd Haberkorn, the guy who voiced Natsu in the English dub version of the anime, or at least for the English translation. I'd love to see if they could get some of the voice actors from the show to come in and reprise their roles for the game, especially if you're going to make the main characters part of the story and important stuff like that. And you know, it's weird. I've actually played RPGs that really do work when based on an anime. There was one, and I know I'm kind of dating myself here. I'm trying to remember what the hell the name of it was. It's based on Inuyasha, if anybody remembers. It was a PS2 RPG. Fuck me. It was like Legend of the Cursed Mask or something shit like that. Actually introduced a new character. Actually altered some actual story arcs from the anime into the video game. And it worked really well for what it was. I mean, yeah, it was a little goofy. Yeah, it was just, hey, look, we're making a little RPG with these characters. But it actually worked as an RPG within the universe and the lore of the anime, but still told a new story. So I'm kind of hoping that they can pull off something like that with this game. And yes, I did kind of just use this as an excuse to talk about Fairy Tail, because I like Fairy Tail. Leave me alone. All right, we'll move on. All right, moving on from anime into gangsters. Apparently trying to make a buck in Gangster Sim Empire of Sin. It's the title of the upcoming article on PC Gamer, article by Fraser Brown. This Empire of Sin was something that really kind of caught my eye. Geez, when did we see this? Was it Gamescom or... No, I think we might have caught it in a sizzle reel at E3. I can't remember when I first saw this game. But, by the way, if you haven't seen, apparently Divinity Original Sin 2 is coming to Switch. I love that it's coming to Switch. I actually might buy that game again just to play it on Switch. Sorry, I love Divinity Original Sin 2. But Empire Sin really kind of caught my eye as a game, mostly because I love kind of like mob and gangster stuff. You know, the Mafia games, I actually really enjoyed. And yes, I'm even including 3, and yes, I'm including 2. I enjoyed those games. Not saying they're the best games, but I got some enjoyment out of them. You know, I played, a few of the Godfather games were actually pretty good too. I love mob shit. You know, it's just, you know, the politics of the families and the criminal element. I've always loved that that sort of aesthetic. And I really like this idea of kind of making an XCOM style combat game. It's set around gangsters. I think it's really cool. This is being done by Paradox Interactive. So let's kind of. Oh, also setting it in Chicago. I really like that too. But again, it's because I've grown up not in Chicago, but near Chicago. You know, it's. I've always said, you know, I live in Indiana, but I live closer to Chicago than I do to Indianapolis. So. it's one of those, like, Chicago's always kind of been the city that I've always kind of known. So it's kind of cool seeing a game set there too. It's kind of like why I liked Watch Dogs so much. I've just shot up a mob business, and under the laws of 1920 Chicago, it now belongs to me. Ownership is straightforward, an empire of sin, and corporate takeovers are bloody. Within moments, it's up and running again, and I can get on with the real dirty work of this crooked management sim, making cash. My time with the game is fleeting, and I have a criminal empire to forge, so I quickly start hiring some employees, not bartenders or croupiers, but gangsters. The first is a muscular gentleman called Baby, and the other is Maria, who I am immediately informed has become an alcoholic. Gang members develop traits in and out of combat. If Maria hung around brothels instead of bars, she could get an STD, which could then spread to her partner, and if they broke up, to even more people. Quote, "I'm not proud of it," says game director Brenda Romero, when she explains how it can spread, but there were brothels and there were consequences, end quote. See, I like this. I like that way of doing traits and everything with your characters, depending on where if you have them guarding a bar, maybe they'll become an alcoholic. They hang out near brothels, they might pick up an STD, and then the STD can spread. Again, it's like you said, it's kind of a weird thing to see, but it's realistic. I love sim-based games where I get to kind of like manage a criminal empire or a business or something like that. Hell, I love This Is the Police, where I get to manage a small little police department. I love that shit, mostly because I love micromanaging and I'm weird. But so again, this game has really kind of caught my eye, and this article is just telling me, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. These traits and rashes have tangible ramifications, changing how effective gang members are when they're on the job, and while minions can be directly controlled and sent all over the city in real time, as well as being commanded in turn-based tactical fights, they also have their own lives, families, and secrets. That means things can get complicated. One of your henchmen could fall in love with someone from another gang, and if you end up in a fight, they might refuse to shoot. Or they might have a weakness that could be exploited by the FBI, turning them into a snitch. If the cops start showing up a lot, you might have a weak link in the chain and need to arrange to have a friendly chat with your employee. God damn it, I do love the XCOM style look to the game. Maria's lover shows up in front of our HQ, shot up but still alive. The cops raid my speakeasy. Do I have a traitor in my burgeoning organization? I've got a few businesses now, which I've been tweaking to maximize profits, but I can't afford to start throwing all my money at the police. While some will accept bribes, others are Elliot Ness types that won't stop until I'm in jail. I spot some of them on the street. God damn it, I spot some on the street corner, and we open fire. Empire's combat broadly feels like gangster XCOM. I love how anything... granted, I explain things the same way, but I love how anything with this kind of like grid base is whatever XCOM. Although, I guess it deserves it, because XCOM really did it so well. Immediately switching to a turn-based shootout. I've got a few crooks rolling with me now, each of them with inventories full of guns and knuckle dusters and bats. We take a bruising, though, and I suddenly realize one of my fighters is just some old man who is nowhere near cover. We barely make it out alive, but we do just as I run out of time. I never did figure out if we had a snitch. Again, I love the idea of this game. Like I said, I love the idea of a gangster sim, and I like how they're making combat in this too. Again, I've always loved this sort of top-down grid-based combat system. I love it in XCOM. I love it in Troubleshooter. I love it in This Is the Police 2 actually used something similar to that. When we play This Is the Police 2, you'll see what I'm talking about. Come on, brain, what game am I thinking of? Hard West used it. Phantom Doctrine. There we go. That took me a second. But no, I really do like this idea, and I really want to see more of this game. There's so much really cool shit right now that I feel like some stuff is kind of being thrown to the wayside. It's kind of why I wanted to include this little article. I know it doesn't really give us a lot of firm details. It just kind of goes through what this guy's experiences were playing this little demo, but I really like the idea of this game, and I wanted to give kind of give you guys a look at here's some of the stuff you get to do in this game. And I love the idea of the relationships and that they can break down, they can be exploited by the FBI and everything. And I know I just kind of acted like I was about to stop talking about this game, and now I'm still talking about it. We'll move on, because again, this was just kind of a little article like, hey, this is a thing, check it out. I think it's awesome. All right, guys, moving on to our final article. And yes, already on the final article, there's really not a lot to talk about this week. Article by Dave Meekleham. Hopefully that's correct. I believe this is, PC Gamer. Yakuza 7 devs explain the new combat system, says it could be twice the length of previous games. I think I also saw another article on Destructoid that said something like the map is like 3 to 4 times bigger than any other Yakuza game, which on one hand kind of makes me sad because of how much I love Kamurocho, but on the other hand, I like the idea that we get to explore somewhere new in a Yakuza game. And god damn it, this guy's hair just gets me every time. It just makes me smile. Think of Yakuza, and the first thing that probably springs to mind is the series' chunky virtual fighter-esque fights. Previous series lead Kiryu has been dishing out real-time bone-breaking fisticuffs for over a decade. But as revealed last week, the forthcoming Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon will implement, I love that subtitle by the way, will implement turn-based battles for the first time in the franchise's history. This might be a weird question, because I know I have some subscribers out there and some people who watch who really do like who are like me, and the Yakuza series holds like a special place for them. What do you guys think about the turn-based combat? Because I've really not asked this question. Like, do you guys like the idea of the turn-based? Are you kind of like, I'll make my decision when I play it? I mean, personally, for me, I like the idea. And this screenshot, I think I've said, is kind of already sold me on the concept. I like the idea. There is a part of me that says, you know what, I'll make my final decision when I actually see it implemented. But I like the idea. I think it could be cool. It's also because I love turn-based games, so that could be another thing of why I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. But yeah, I could see where this could split some fans. So it's like I said, it's why I'm asking. On Twitter, user Nibble, I don't fucking know. Link to an interview with the game's dev team taken from a recent issue of Famitsu. Another user, Black Kite, then posted a side-by-side Japanese to English transcription of the interview that with Sega saying the new system has been designed to make new protagonist Ichiban Katsuga more of a team player. See, here's something else that I'm really hoping that we get to see. I'm hoping that Ichiban, and I love that name, is a completely different character than Kiryu. As much as I love Kiryu and his kind of stoic, I have a mission, I have my sense of right and wrong, and that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to knock down anyone who stands in my way of doing it. It's always kind of what I loved about Kiryu, is he is that kind of like stoic hero who really doesn't talk a lot. I'm kind of hoping that this guy might be, because he seems younger, so I'm kind of hoping he's a little more brash. Maybe he's a little more hot-headed. Although, he's saying he's more of a team player. I'm curious to see what that's going to be, too. Because, again, Kiryu was always kind of, I'm going to kind of shoulder this alone sort of guy. He'd rather die than have somebody that he cares about end up... And again, I know that sounds, isn't that obvious that he'd rather die than someone that he loves? But he'd rather take the bullet for someone than see somebody that, who's a friend of his take that bullet. That's just, that was always kind of the guy Kiryu was. That's why I love this character. But no, I'm kind of hoping that Ichiban is a little more flippant, and he's a little more, he's a little more fiery. Maybe something similar to what Yagami is in Judgment, but that's, I guess. I'd say a different game series, but we know it takes place in the Yakuza world, so whatever. According to the transcript, RGG Studios wants Ryuga Gotoku. God, I love saying that, especially now that I know how to pronounce it. Wants to transform Yakuza 7 into an action RPG rather than a straight-out action adventure. Quote, he's not simply a strong man who can enter enemy bases on his own. He fights with his friends. The system presents it straightly as an RPG, end quote. And that's not to say this will be a traditional turn-based system. The interview also states players will have to keep aware of their surroundings, as nearby objects and vehicles can be used on the fly to influence scraps. So I'm hoping that there's still some wacky, like, heat actions. You know, it's, again, my favorite one that we've seen recently is where you can take somebody, drag them into a convenience store, throw them over the counter, and their head smashes through the microwave, and you tell the guy to turn it on, and then you see the guy as he gets shocked in the microwave. That as soon as I found out that heat action, I can't stop doing it. I love it too much. Oh man. Quote, fights will be controlled by factors surrounding things in real time. For example, if there are trash cans or bicycles nearby, they then can use them to attack by kicking them. If a car passes by, they can be run over. So you'll need to assess your surroundings. Interesting. So it's turn-based, but time still kind of flows, I guess. That's interesting. The other big headline news for the interview is that Yakuza 7 could apparently be twice as long as previous entries in the series. Quote, the total playtime will be longer than in the past. It will take more than double the main story alone. End quote. Past Yakuza titles were hardly short, so Kaz's latest could be damn near life swallowing. Other highlights from the interview, Ichiban has a squad of friends he can give jobs to. You can assign various pieces of equipment to different parts of his body, and the map contains areas populated by ultra-tough enemies that can only be defeated once you reach a certain level. As for why Yakuza 7 is being treated as the next numbered sequel despite the new combat system, new combat style and protagonist, the devs say simply that, quote, the studio thinks this is a legitimate Yakuza game, end quote. Certainly, if all the features come to pass, Yakuza 7 could well be the most ambitious entry in the series that's never been afraid to take chances. Remember the zombie slaughter of Yakuza Dead Souls? Oh, I forgot about that game. Yakuza 7 isn't yet announced for PC, but Sega does consider it to be a multi-platform series, so never say never. Thanks, PCGN. No, again, if it's not obvious, I love Yakuza. I love the franchise. I loved Kiryu. I'm so glad that we're getting a new trilogy. I still haven't played 6 yet, either, because I haven't played 3, 4, 5. But I'm so glad that we are getting... Actually, the remaster of 3 is already out, and I think 4 and 5 are supposed to come out, 4, I think, by the end of the year, if I'm not wrong. I think it's sometime around December, and 5 is coming out in February. Although, personally, I'm waiting until next February to play 3, 4, and 5, because I'm getting the box set and the really cool steel bookcase for the Yakuza trilogy. I really like that. But no, and I'm holding off on 6, Song of Life, until I actually play 3, 4, 5, because I don't want to play them out of order. No, it's like I said, I loved this series for the longest time, and it doesn't make me sad to see them try something new, or to even get rid of those sort of chunky battle sequences, because in all honesty, I love the kind of like schlocky, chunky combat of Yakuza. I like how they also tried to make it a little different in Judgment, and I think it works. For the most part, there are a few moments where it just doesn't have that same weight that I loved out of Yakuza, but at the end of the day, I still enjoy Judgment, or I enjoy Judgment's combat, but that's not what makes me love the game as much as I do. It's the characters and the mysteries and all that shit. What the hell was I talking about? Right, Yakuza 7. Yeah, I've been extremely excited for Yakuza 7, and I'm hoping we get some more details come TGS. Maybe, hey, here's when to expect it, Japanese and Western release date. Hey, we're gonna have an English voice track, which I'm still really hoping exists. Stuff like that. So that's pretty much the end of the articles and really the end of the episode this week, guys. Like I said, this is gonna be a short one, just kind of covering some TGS stuff. Just a few other articles. Really, one other article being the Empire of Sin thing that I wanted to look at. But all in all, I'm excited for TGS. Like I said, I'm not sure how exactly we're going to cover that show, but I'm going to be expect some stuff later this week, early next week, about that. So I want to say, as always, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links, all that stuff is down in the description below. Like, comment, you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. Down in the description are the timestamps and links, as always. Other than that, I'm actually going to leave you guys with a really cool trailer that I actually saw last night on YouTube. It's for GreeFall, obviously a game that I've been super excited about. I've not kind of hidden that fact. And this is just a really, really cool trailer. So I kind of want, I didn't necessarily want to do commentary over it or anything, but I did want to include it in the show just in case, just kind of give it that shout out. So thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy the trailer, and until next time, my name's AJ Gels, the Something Gaming Channel.